We are here today in the matter of Tinu versus Deji and Funke Adeyemi. The claim is for unpaid wages contrary to the National Minimum Wage Act 1998, covering a period of employment of 10 years. Both parties have submitted their written statements. We will now hear oral testimony. Ms. Adeora Osei, you may proceed. Thank you. Tinu, can you tell the tribunal when you first came to work for the Adeyemis and how the arrangement was presented to you? I came to the UK 10 years ago. The Adeyemis recruited me in Nigeria. I was told there was a job as a nanny, that my visa and travel costs would be covered, and that I would receive a monthly salary. A specific figure wasn't mentioned in the initial conversation. And what figure was mentioned? It was not a precise number. I was told it would be fair and that we would agree the exact amount once I arrived and had a bank account set up. And did you receive that salary? No. What were you told when you asked about it? I was told my salary was being saved for me because I didn't have a UK bank account. I was told Deji was handling the account. I was told to be patient. Over time, when I pressed for specifics, I was told that the accommodation and food I was receiving were to be considered my compensation. How many times did you raise the issue of your salary with Adeyemis? I have records of 11 separate conversations over the 10 years. I know there were more that I did not record. Can you describe your daily duties? I woke at 5 every morning to prepare breakfast. I managed both children from their morning routine to school drop-off to after-school activities. I cooked all meals, including for dinner parties. I cleaned the house daily, did all laundry, managed household supplies, and ran errands. When either child was unwell, I was the primary carer through the night. I was expected to be available at night as a general arrangement. On average, how many hours per day were you working? Between 12 and 14 hours on weekdays. On weekends, between 8 and 10, depending on whether the family had social engagements. And in the entire 10 years, what did you receive from the Adeyemis as payment for this work? £200, given to me once in the second year, described as personal expenses, that is all. No further questions.
Miss Tinu, the Adeyemis brought you to the United Kingdom at considerable expense. Visa, flights, and all associated costs, would you agree?
Yes, they covered those costs.
And they provided you with a room in their home for 10 years. In one of the most expensive cities in the world, they provided food, warmth, utilities. Would you agree that these have significant monetary value?
I would agree they have monetary value. I would not agree that they constitute wages. An employer who provides accommodation to a live-in worker is legally permitted to offset a capped amount from the minimum wage. Not the full wage. The rest remains owed to the worker. I know the legal cap. The accommodation and food provided do not come close to covering what is owed to me over 10 years.
You said you were told there would be a salary, but no written contract was ever signed. Isn't it possible there was simply a misunderstanding about the nature of the arrangement?
I have detailed records of 11 salary conversations, with dates, the words used, and the responses I received. In not one of those conversations did the Adeyemis say there was no salary. In every one, they said it was being handled. A misunderstanding does not explain 10 years of deflection.
You were living in their home, eating their food, part of their family life. Is it not true that you were treated far better than a typical employee would be?
I cooked their food, cleaned their house, raised their children, and was available through the night if needed. That is not living as part of a family. That is full-time live-in domestic service. And the law is very clear that domestic workers are entitled to the national minimum wage, regardless of the accommodation arrangements.
Your visa status was dependent on your employment with the Adeyemis. They renewed your visa repeatedly over 10 years. Would you not say that represented a significant ongoing commitment on their part?
It represented their legal obligation as my sponsor. Without renewing my visa, I would have been required to leave the country, which would have meant they lost their free living cook, cleaner, and child carer.
The visa renewals were in their interest, not a favor to me.
No further questions.
Mrs. Adeyemi, you said Tinu never formally objected to the arrangement. I am going to read you a date. The 14th of March, 8 years ago. Does that date mean anything to you?
I don't recall a specific date.
On that date, according to the records submitted to this tribunal, Tinu raised the issue of her salary with you in your kitchen. You responded by asking her if she knew how much accommodation in London cost. Do you deny that that conversation took place?
There may have been general discussions, so you admit the conversation occurred? I don't recall specifically.
Yes or no, Mrs. Adeyemi, do you deny that conversation?
I don't remember the specifics.
I have 11 dates, 11 recorded conversations about salary. I can read every single one of them into the record. Would you like me to? No. I don't deny there were conversations. Thank you. No further questions. The tribunal has found entirely in your favor, Tinu. I want to read you the key section of the decision. The panel finds that the claimant was engaged in full-time domestic employment with the respondents for a period of 10 years. The evidence clearly establishes that the claimant performed duties consistent with those of a live-in nanny and housekeeper, working in excess of 12 hours per day on average. The respondents have failed to demonstrate that any wage was paid to the claimant during this period. The provision of accommodation and food does not, under the National Minimum Wage Act 1998, constitute payment of wages, and the statutory offset for accommodation has been applied accordingly. The panel finds that the respondents have been in continuous breach of minimum wage legislation for the entire duration of the claimant's employment. The panel further notes with concern the apparent use of the claimant's visa dependency as a means, whether intentional or not, of retaining an unpaid worker. The panel orders the respondents to pay the claimant the sum of £114,240. This figure represents 10 years of wages at the applicable minimum wage rate, adjusted annually, for 12 working hours per day, 6 days per week, minus the legally permitted accommodation offset of £2,000 per year. Payment is to be made in full within 90 days. A failure to comply will result in enforcement proceedings, including potential seizure of assets. £114,240. Yes.
And they have 90 days to pay.
90 days. If they don't, we go back to court. And the enforcement options available to us are significant. But I don't think it will come to that. Their lawyer called me this morning, before the decision was even formally delivered. He wanted to know if you would take a settlement.
What did you tell him?
I told him we would wait for the decision. Now we have it. Decision is the settlement. They pay the full amount or they face enforcement.
They will pay it.
They will find a way to pay it. People always find a way when the alternative is worse. They may sell something, they may borrow, they may take a loan against their house. That is their problem, not yours. Your only job now is to decide what you want to do next.
I want to go home.
Then we'll make sure the payment clears before you book your ticket. I'd suggest waiting 60 days, give them time to arrange the funds and transfer them, then go. 60 days? 60 days. Then you're free.
I'm going to miss you, you know.
Don't start, Gloria.
I mean it. You made this old house feel less quiet.
You're not old. You're experienced.
Huh. I'll use that.
I want to do something when I get back. Not just rest, something that gives young women work.
Something real. I don't have all the details yet, but I know the shape of it. You'll figure it out. You figured out everything else. I had help.
You had you. I lent you a garden and some biscuits. Gloria, why did you really help me? You could have stayed in your garden and minded your business.
My daughter went to work abroad many years ago. She was young, she didn't know anyone. A woman in her new city found her crying on a park bench one evening and didn't know where to turn.
Brought her home, fed her, helped her find her feet. Where is your daughter now?
Australia. Has been there for 20 years, happy as anything. I'll really miss you, Gloria. I'll miss you too. Go home, Tinu. I'll write.
You'd better. And not just at Christmas.
Not just at Christmas.
Sister, are you at the airport?
I'm at the airport. I'm coming.
Mama has been cooking since morning. Sister, there's egusi, there's jollof, there's pepper soup, there's fried plantain.
Titi, is Taju there?
He's here. He wants to know if you brought the plane.
Tell him I'll buy him a ticket on a real one. Does that count? He says it does not count. Tell him I will bring him something with lights when I land.
He says it had better be expensive.
Oh, it will be.
Hurry home. We're waiting.
See you guys soon.